So today I want to talk about the topic of gear fear. This is something which has been brought up quite a bit on my stream. I see it quite a bit. I have people DM me asking about it, and I think it's just Delta Force has introduced this extraction mode, and it's more open for a lot more people. It's a bit better than Tarkov in terms of being user-friendly, and so it's bringing a lot of new people in who may have not played extraction modes before. DMZ players have dabbled in it, but I would say DMZ was not really a proper extraction game mode. It was kind of half and half between an extraction mode and a Warzone. And so they're now coming into Delta Force and they're experiencing that gear fear. So let's talk about my experiences with gear fear and how I countered it, and then talk about some things which you can do to try and get through it, because it really does limit your enjoyment in the game. You may not even realize it until you get over it, and then you really start enjoying what extraction shooters can bring to the table. So I 100% know what gear fear feels like. I also had it back when Escape from Tarkov first ever released and came out, and I kind of got involved and wanted to try it out myself. I was interested in it and saw things about it, and then when it released I bought it and started to try it. And that was my first ever extraction shooter, and I was so scared of dying. It was, I think for me, the part of the gear fear part was not necessarily losing the gear. It was just the fact that if you die, that's it. The game is over, and then you have to go back to the start with no gear, and then you have to then gear up again and use more gear and use more of your expenses of that money which is going down. And I think that was the daunting part for me, is like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gone from what I would say is a really experienced top FPS player back in the days of my prime, to being someone who is just literally scared and can't even move. And it was a weird feeling. I couldn't get around it, but I also was intrigued and I kept on going. And I put in a good 500 to 600 hours of where I was still had gear fear, and I really wasn't progressing too much. I was trying to do missions, but then I would like wuss out if there was a mission in a certain place, which is like a high PvP risk area, for example. And I was like, I don't want to go there. I'll just go and do a customs game and do a loot run, or I'll wait until my scav run comes out, you know? So I understand how you know, gear fear. I had it really badly back in Tarkov, and how did I get over that? Get over gear fear, the first thing you need to start to realize is that you're going to die hell of a lot. You need to get used to the fact that dying in an extraction game is normal, is very, very common, and a lot of people, not just yourself, die a lot, right? Once you get into that kind of thought process, and you die a lot, once you get killed a lot, and you get used to the fact that you die a lot, the gear fear does start to go away. Because for me at least, it was the kind of dying part which was the issue. Now there is different sorts of gear fear. Like, I'm not going to say that is the only thing which will help, but because you can have different types. There's some people are literally, they don't care about the dying, they just care about the fact that they spent quite a bit of money on some gear and they don't want to lose it. Again though, it comes down to dying, right? That's the way they lose it, is they dying. So the first step is coming to the realization that in an extraction shooter, you will die a lot. Get used to it. It's gonna happen. It happens to all of us. It literally happens. If you watch streamers play, especially people who are playing solo, you watch me, like, watch my VODs, like, I will die quite a bit. You know, I showcase some on my videos some of the best, you know, runs I play, and some of the best like squad wipes and stuff like that. But that's not every single raid. If you watch my streams, I'll be sometimes where I have a really good stream and maybe I survive a bit, but then I might have an absolute horrific time and die a lot. There's so many kind of different ways, and so much RNG also in extraction shooters, where sometimes it's not even in your control that you're going to die. right? It just happens, and you have to come to that realization that death is going to be something which happens. Once you get into that kind of thought process of just realizing that, you know, deaths are okay as part of the game, and instead of looking at it in a negative way, I want you to start looking into it in a positive way. You're thinking, why would I do that? Just hear me out. If you've got some recording software, OBS, for example, or Shadowplay, find something which can help you record your clips. And this is also to help you improve, but every single time you die, instead of raging, you know, even I do sometimes too, instead of raging, think to yourself, how did I die there? Why did I die? And how can I improve that? Watch your clip back, save a clip, watch that clip, and then see how you died. And then take a note how you died and see if you can improve it next time. Maybe it's an angle you peaked, which was really stupid, you died that way. Maybe you entered into a POI without really properly checking the place out, then got beamed by someone. Maybe someone was camping in the building, and maybe you should have kind of just took a little bit slower, maybe used a bit of audio to listen out a bit more, you know, things like that. You know, there's a few things you can try and do, try and look at it in a positive spin, and then get back into the game and start again and carry on. That's the first thing I would say, is get used to dying, try and look at it in a positive, and always try and learn off that death. The next thing kind of goes hand in hand with the starting to get used to your death, accepting deaths and things like that. But this one is, at the end of the day, it's just a game. It's just pixels. You're looking at a screen and it's just pixels. I always say this to everyone when people start getting angry or steaming over a video game. And I'm like, dudes, just chill out. It's just pixels. Not affecting your real life. It's not doing anything in real life. You're just playing a video game, all right? And again, once you get into that realization, right, it's just a video game. It's not going to affect you if you die, if you lose, right? Again, it's going to help you with that gear fear. It's going to help you, may not, like, I would say, like, give a crap and then end up just running in and dying instantly all the time without a care in the world, but it opens up more opportunity of you thinking, actually, no, you know what, I'm actually going to see if I can try and outplay this guy a bit and do this and experiment and do things that you maybe wouldn't have done, because at the end of the day, you're now starting to get used to the fact that death is a thing, but you don't really care, and you want to try and outplay this person, and if you die, who cares? It's pixels, you know? So just, again, it goes hand in hand with the death thing. Don't worry. Like, it's just a game. It's just pixels. It's not going to affect you in real life. And this, like I said, as soon as you start putting those two together, your gear fear should start to go away a little bit more. But let's get into the third thing. The third thing is getting a good loot run going. Finding a good way of making money in the game. So even if you have died quite a few times, it doesn't matter because you know how to gain money. You'll watch me play and I spend a lot of money. Like, there's different types of people. There's people who like to build and rack up money, and they got like 10 million or 11 million in the game, and they're going up higher and higher. They're like loot goblins, right? And then you got like myself, which you'll see I don't really have too much money all the time. And that's because I spend it. I spend it on really good gear, really good ammo, and I just like to have fun. And I like to use expensive kits, and I don't, like I said, care if I die with that expensive kit, because at the end of the day, I know a way of making a bit of money, and I can just go and do that for a few hours, and you know, pop up my funds a bit again, so then I can go back and play with some really fun gear. And that in itself is a way to help you with gear fear. Is if you know a good way of just making a bit of money, you know, you think, okay, died a few times, I've spent quite a bit, I've lost a bit. Okay, I think for the next few hours, just going to do some loot runs, top up my money again, because that's a part of the game, right? It's not like you're taking now 2 or 3 hours out of your progression to make money. The whole point of an extraction shooter is you can do whatever you like. It's not really in a set objective in an extraction shooter. You're not having to only go and do missions. You're not only having to go and run good kit and go in PvP. You're not only having to do loot runs. It's up to you what you do. You're the person in control, and you can set out to do whatever you want to do. So if you do die a few times and you lost a load of gear, it doesn't matter. Like, again, it's like that learning experience. Learn about that and why you died, but then think, you know what? Now I need to go and do a loot run. I need to make some money, and I need to go and just get some of that money back I lost. And that, again, is part of the game. So learning a good loot run is one of the ways to also just take away some of that gear fear. So when you do go into with a big kit, you're not really worrying about the fact that, oh God, you know, I don't want to die with this, or, you know, if I lose this, I say it. You wouldn't care, because you think, you know what, whatever, you know, I'm going to go out and have fun with this kit. I might be able to make a play, might be able to, you know, snowball even more and get even better money. Or, you know, I might die and then I'll just go back and do a loot run and then recover it, you know? So make a good loot run, wherever that is. It could be, you know, doing gear tickets. It could be going on Lowly Grove and just kind of going around the outskirts on the POIs and looting things like birds' nests and stashes and things like that. It could be going to normal and just kind of like ratting again around the back. There's loads of different ways you can make money. I've also put a guide where you can spend about 50k on a shotgun and try and snowball that way, right? There's a load of different ways you can do it. I will try and make a loot run video, actually. I'm trying to focus on one for Lowly Grove and also Zero Down to kind of just show you ways you can do that. But yeah, learn a loot run. It can really help you with that kind of issue with funds and money. Last thing's just to kind of round out everything we kind of talked about and add a few pointers to gear fear to kind of help with this. So at the end of the day, gear fear is just a hindrance for you. It's stopping you from enjoying the game as much as it possibly can, because you may be limiting yourself to only certain bits of gear, low-end gear, for example, and you're not getting to try out all the cool stuff. Having gear, like really decent gear in your stash, means nothing if you're never going to use it. It's there for a reason. Think of gear, think of really decent guns, decent gear, better ammo as fun, as like extra increase of fun. Not, oh, if I lose this, I can't use it. You know, I've lost it. No, just think of it as more fun and a possibility of being able to outplay another person easier, because you have better gear, which is going to help you win those gunfights. If you think of BR players, for example, if you are a BR player beforehand, you go in to find the best gear possible when you dive in from the plane to try and get better gear to help you win that fight, so you get to the end and just be the #1 player who survives to get that chicken dinner. Think of that also in an extraction shooter. How if you go in with a crappy gear and you're going in to use that for PvP or to try and get through your raids, you're going to have less chance of winning compared to if you went in with a really decent kit, which may be able to limit, you know, allow you to take more shots before getting to cover, or may allow you to down a person faster. And so think of gear as like a utility and not a hindrance. You know, just think of it as a utility which is going to help you make and progress faster in the game and allow you to have more fun. At the end of the day, gear fear is a hindrance in the game, and that's something that I started to enjoy Tarkov a lot more once I got rid of the gear fear. Once I started using really fun guns and started just kind of going in with a less care in the world attitude of dying and just get back my confidence, because I was a confident player. I was a confident FPS player. I was very good at FPS games. And then the gear fear lowered that by 75%. And my abilities, which I was normally confident at, were lowered. you get rid of the gear fear and you just, you know, put a middle finger up to it and just think, you know what, I'm a good FPS player. I can do this. There's going to be chances, you have a lot more chances of winning and doing better at the game. And so, yeah, if you get into Delta Force, that is something to try and get rid of as the gear fear. I hope some of these points help you. So this was more of a kind of like, I didn't really have any, you know, anything written down. It's just me kind of talking about it and trying to, you know, put my thoughts on it and trying to help you guys out to get through it, because I understand it, because I did used to have it back in the days when I first started playing. So let me know in the comment section down below if you had gear fear, if you had it, this has helped you in any way. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. The support with Delta Force is amazing so far, and the comments are awesome. So thank you, guys, and I'll catch you soon for some more Delta Force.